So here we have our good friend, the KVM switch with an IntelliKeys. It's tied into a couple of Raspberry Pis that are buried under there. And on the back you have the HDMI output going to the monitor. I have a regular keyboard and mouse plugged into the keyboard and mouse ports. I have an IntelliKeys plugged into one of the two spare USBs. Underneath I've got the power plugged in, and then on the new jacks I've got a reset button on the left and a power button on the right. So this is for external switching of reset or power. There's a label on the top. There's also a handy way to remember it is I've put the power above the wall wart power jack. So just think, okay, these two do power, this must do reset. So if that label ever comes off, that's why. The power switch that came with the device has been modified. Now, during initial setup, if you don't have any switches connected, nothing plugged into my new ports here, you can turn the unit on and off with its switch. Okay, so turning it on will turn on the device like normal, and it will power up the IntelliKeys and all that other fun stuff. Now, this is an override, so this will override any switch action. So in this condition, you could be clicking your switch all day long. It's not going to power down to the device. So for Kirk's setup, you probably don't want to have it like that, right? You want to be able to turn it on and off. So kind of unintuitively, but this is how it is. Switch that power switch off. Okay, depending on what state we were last in. See, now the device is off. But even though that power is off, now your external switch is controlling things. So in a normal setup, when Kirk is using this, you'll have this switch set off, because then it will rely on the external button. And these are momentary buttons, so they aren't toggle, they're just regular momentary buttons. If you're doing the install part of it and you're just testing it out, you don't have the cords connected or whatever, you can manually turn on the device by flipping it on, and it won't hurt either way. Okay. Now let's see, the other function it has is the reset, which I have wired over here. And reset, it does a quiet beep because I quieted down the beep, but the reset button does a reset of the KVM. So what's the difference? Well, reset of the KVM resets the KVM, but it does not reset your inbound USB devices. So reset will not power down the IntelliKeys. Okay. If you want to power down the IntelliKeys and any other USB devices that are plugged into it, you need to do the power cycle. So when I do power cycle, that's going to turn it off, and everything's off. The IntelliKeys are off. Turn it on. The KVM comes up, and after a second, there's the IntelliKeys up. So if the IntelliKey is completely locked up, you could do the power cycle. If it seems like it's a KVM problem, you can just do a reset. And the way that it's been rewired also is if, let's see, I'm going to turn this to off. If we lose power through the main power supply, it is going to de-energize that relay in there, and it's truly going to turn the KVM off. Even though there's vampire backflow power from the two Raspberry Pis, which would normally power it, because the relay is now unpowered, it completely shuts down. The big reason behind that is so that it doesn't drain your phone. or computers or whatnot, mainly your phone. You don't want to have your phone go dead because it's powering a KVM. Now let's say that the power comes back up. Power comes up. And now we want to get back to normal again. Since we have it in the remote mode, we just hit our button and it pops back up. So once power is restored through the wallboard after power outage, you'll just have to click on your on switch, this remote one, and then you should be set. So I think that covers our power situation. We've got reset working, we've got power working, I think, in a decent way. We didn't make anything any uglier than it already is. The front panel and all that, nothing has changed, and a little bit of hot glue made the buzzer a lot quieter. So let me know what you think.